What's going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis than by tuning into this podcast right here, right now. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4. Tonight we're going to be doing episode 56. Now, real quick, if you're new to the channel, my name is Rob Carbone. I am a blogger, but also I do a podcast, and this is what you're listening to. You're listening to BD4. Now, this is only my second video on YouTube, if you haven't noticed, mainly because the podcast I've been doing has only been in audio format, but now I am trying it out here, doing a video format of the podcast, and we're going to see how far this goes, because I really enjoyed it last night doing it after the game, and I thought it was pretty cool, and so far the feedback I'm receiving has been only positive, but we'll see how it goes as I go along. But tonight we are going to be reviewing the Knicks' 2 months, doing a little progress report on the team. So usually I will only put out episodes every 2 games, but since it's the end of December here, the 29th, we're 2 months into the season, and I always have an episode at the end of each month reviewing the team and, giving each player a letter grade and the roster as a whole as well. So let's get into that real quick, guys. Let's talk about it for about 10-15 minutes, and we'll see how this goes. So last month, under David Fizdale, I had the Knicks. Well, they were 4 in a bunch. Okay, let's just say they were very bad. I gave the Knicks a D-, right? I thought they were going backwards, which they were. They were playing sloppy, not fundamentally. They were playing free-for-all offense out there. They didn't have any type of scheme defensively. It seemed like everybody was just, crashing into the paint and allowing 3-point shots galore, just wide-open shots, and nobody really had any clue what they were doing. Players seemed to be regressing under Fizdale from last season to this season, and it was just a whole colossal screw-up. But, at the beginning of December here, the second month into the season, the Knicks fired Fizdale. They got a new interim coach by the name of Mike Miller, who has won Coach of the Year before down in the G League. And he has his team playing much better. So from a D- last month, 2 months in now, I give them a C-. So they've jumped an entire letter grade from 1 month to the next, which is good. I think the Knicks are playing much better fundamentally now. They're playing much more sophisticated basketball, right? They're playing a better brand of hoops where the ball is moving a little more. But most importantly, I think it's even more important than ball movement is players are moving more, right? We're seeing a lot more cutting, a lot more screen setting, and things such as that. They're more active on the defensive end. It seems guys have a much better idea of what they're doing out there. They're not lost. They know what they're doing. They know their job on screens, right? They're not just rotating on every single pick and roll attempt, but they are staying with the screen and fighting over. At least the wings and the small forwards are, and the guards. Whereas the bigger men will drop back and wait for the play to develop. We've talked about this last night, obviously, but those are the little things like that can help you win a basketball game, or even just help you compete in basketball games. So playing hard is great, but playing smart is just as great, and that's what the Knicks have been doing. They've been playing harder and smarter so far, as the season has progressed. So I gave them a C-. I think it's been a better, a step in the right direction so far. Obviously, we've got a ways to go. This team is 9-24 even after their 2-game win streak and after their 5-6 stint so far under Mike Miller. So there's a ways to go to be even decent. But their play of late has earned them a jump in the letter grade department. So that's good. But let's move on to the players, the individuals. We're going to give out grades. So I guess we'll begin with the starting lineup and we'll make our way to the bench. So starting point guard, we have Elfrid Payton. I actually gave Elfrid Payton, maybe this is a little too optimistic, but I gave Elfrid Payton a B+. I think Payton's been, since he's been inserted into the rotation as a regular in general, I think Payton has played excellent basketball. He's been the point guard the Knicks have been asking for all season, right? Because when he was out with injury, point guard was the Knicks' biggest issue. And not to say it still isn't. Obviously, they need a true, legit, long-term point guard. But for the meantime, while they're still trying to, win some games and compete in basketball games, Payton has filled the need, for the moment. He's playing aggressive out there, which is one of the things Frank Ntilikina struggles with. He's generating offense for the team, right? He can drive into the paint and score that way, or he can drive into the paint and kick it out for, to set up a teammate. He's doing things like that. He's being a nice floor general, a traffic director. We talked about this last night also. But yeah, I think he's played well enough offensively, and he's done a good job defensively. So a B+ for Elfrid Payton. Let's move on to shooting guard. RJ Barrett, I gave him a B. Because I think while RJ has struggled with his shooting percentages, right, the jump shot has not been falling as consistently as as it was earlier in the year. It's been very up and down. The 3-point shooting, the free throw percentage has been bad. He struggled with his free throws really, really badly. But he's still scoring at a pretty good rate. This is a guy who's going to give you double figures, maybe 15 points a night. And RJ Barrett has been playing great on the offensive glass, great on the defensive glass. He's been playmaking fairly well, and he's been a very good defender. I think that's one of the few things a lot of people forget about RJ Barrett. Excuse me. But his defense has been very strong so far for the Knicks. He's done a much better job than I thought he would do. Now, I'm not sure if he was known as a good defender at Duke, but so far he's kind of giving me a little Jimmy Butler vibes, where he's going to trend towards that path if he keeps up this strong two-way play. But overall, I give RJ Barrett a B because he struggled with inconsistencies, but overall he's given the Knicks a lot more good than bad. Moving on to small forward, I have Marcus Morris getting a B+. I think this one's pretty straightforward. He's been the Knicks' best offensive weapon this season, their most consistent scorer, scoring 18, 19, 20 points every night, hitting over 45% of his threes, might be even higher than that, getting to the line, converting there, hitting the mid-range shots, hitting the crunch time buckets, rebounding well, defending well, providing good mentorship. He's done all those things for the Knicks this season, and I gave him a B+ for that. Obviously, Morris his name has been trending in trade talks and all of that, but that's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, a B+ as far as the way he's played this season. I think that's a pretty fair grade. Julius Randle plays power forward for the Knicks, and I gave him a D last month, I believe. But overall now, 2 months in, I jumped his letter grade to a C+ because I truly believe that under Mike Miller, again, this is another coaching thing, because under David Fizdale, Julius Randle was playing, unorganized basketball. He was out of control. Played too much not power forward. He played too much point forward and not enough power forward, right? We saw him taking the ball up court way too often. We saw him going into isolation mode way too often. We saw him taking bad shots from 3-point distance, right, off the dribble, in your face kind of shots. But now, as the season has started to progress, we're seeing Julius Randle being put in a position to succeed. where now, he's playing more as a power forward. He's using that strength and physicality more. He's playing downhill. But when he is shooting outside shots, they are smarter shots. They are more open shots. They're assisted shots. So he's having other people generate, creating space for him as well. He's not just shot creating, but he's more of a spot up shooter now. So he's playing better in terms of, better team basketball, passing out of double teams, playmaking better. He's much better overall game too, because I like the way his defense has increased or improved so far over the last couple of weeks. He's been a much better help defender, which has been the big thing with him, right? He's always been an okay on-ball defender, but Randall's help defense, especially under Fizdale, was just bad. But it's been somewhat better of late. So a C plus right now for Randall, and honestly, that should be, you should look at that as a good C plus, because it went from a D to a C plus. So definitely a good jump there. Starting at center is, unfortunately, it's still Taj Gibson. Now, I like Gibson. I gave him a B minus because he's been good, very solid. Maybe that's a little too optimistic, but I gave him a B minus. He's, he can stretch the floor a teeny tiny bit, maybe a little 14, 15-foot jumper. But for the most part, he's going to provide you with the intangibles, right? The defense, the shot blocking, a little bit of shot blocking, but the defensive, presence out there. Another veteran guy, a good screen setter. He can roll to the rim, do the things like that, a little toughness out there. But I give him a B minus. You could probably argue and say C plus is more fair, but pretty much the same thing. B minus. I would love to see Mitchell Robinson eventually start at center, though. Mitchell Robinson is actually part of this team's long-term plans. Mitchell Robinson has been great this season. He's obviously struggled with foul issues, but they've improved under Mike Miller. Over the past couple of weeks, yes, he's still had some games where he's fouled 5-6 times, and that's going to obviously boost that foul average, but there have been more games under, the past couple of weeks where Robinson has fouled 2-1 time, as opposed to when he was playing under Fizdale for the first 22 games. So, overall, his increasingly better play has gotten his grade up from a B minus, I think I had it last month, to a B now. So Mitchell Robinson I have at a B because he's still shot blocking at a good rate. He's rebounding better. He's scoring much more. So we're seeing a lot more double-doubles from him. The other night he had 10 and 10. Tonight he had 9 and 9. So he's doing more, he's providing more consistency on the floor because he's able to stay on the floor longer. So a nice solid B for Mitch. Who else am I missing? Damian Dotson. I gave Dotson a C. Maybe it's the shoulder surgery, recovering from that shoulder surgery that's affected his shot, but he's been pretty inconsistent overall on the season. Now, he's been a good defender. He always competes defensively, especially out on that perimeter, but Damian Dotson has struggled offensively. He gets to the rim. He's getting to the rim. I've noticed he has more speed than I thought. He can get to the lane, drive down the lane much more than I thought. Tonight he had a couple of good drives in the fast break and transition. But for the most part, his outside shot is still shooting below league average. Not really consistent yet. I know he was 5 of 10 from deep the other night, but he kind of answered that with a poor showing from deep last or 2 nights ago and then tonight. But overall, I gave him a C because ups and downs. Who else did I get? Did I get Frank? I don't think I got Frank. Frank, I gave a C as well. Listen, his defense is great. We all know that. But what else does he provide outside of that? He struggles to consistently generate any type of offense, whether that be for himself or for the team. And that's why he lost his job as the starting point guard. So a C for Frank Ntilikina. Who else do we have? Dennis Smith Jr. I gave a D, pretty straightforward. Wayne Ellington C minus. Kevin Knox. Now maybe you will disagree with me here, but I gave Kevin Knox a D plus last month, and I continue to keep him at a D plus this month. Sure, we've seen some more activeness on the defensive end lately, and maybe he's had the shots start falling a little more lately offensively, but still very inconsistent. Still plays with a very low motor. Looks like he's underwater out there. I think he does more harm than he does good. So a D plus for Kevin Knox, and I'm sorry, but that's other than an occasional hot streak from 3 point distance, what does this guy provide for you? Now I'm not saying he's going to be a bust or anything, but I'm saying his play so far on the floor has been of D plus caliber. Bobby Portis, I gave Bobby Portis a C minus, and honestly, that's an improvement from where he was earlier in the year. He's even improved under Mike Miller as well, scoring a little bit more, playing better, but still inconsistent defense. C minus, but it's Bobby Portis. The guy sucks. Get him out of here. And I think that's it, right? We can't really grade guys like Iggy or guys like Alonzo Trier who've not been part of this rotation. So all in all, man, yeah, it's been a terrible season. 9-24. You're never going to accept a 27% winning clip. But considering how bad they were previous to these last 11 games to where they are now after these last 11 games, you will take it and you just want to see where it goes from here, right? You just want to see where it goes. So, again, the C minus that I'm giving the Knicks, that's not the grade I'm giving them under Miller. That's not the grade I'm giving them for just the month of December. That's the grade I am giving them for the entire season so far, for all 33 games. So when you combine all of that, you get a C minus grade. And so again, that's at least a step in the right direction, from where they were earlier in the year. But that's it, guys. That's all I have tonight, and I will be back out there on New Year's Day. As we talk about the last two games for the Knicks, which will be the other night tonight against Washington, and then the Portland game, which is yet to come. So that's that, guys. This has been Rob Carbone with BD4 episode 56, and I'm signing out. Ciao.